Welcome back to the Midnight Narrator, where the digital realm can bleed into our physical reality, and the search for solace in the silence can unearth something profoundly disturbing. Tonight, we delve into the enigma of monochrome static, a seemingly innocuous file promising 10 hours of black screen and unbroken silence. But within this digital void lies a perplexing anomaly, a fleeting moment of intense replay that hints at a hidden terror. Prepare to question the boundaries of the screen as we explore a tale where the most passive of online experiences can leave a lasting and terrifying mark. Join me as we investigate the unsettling mystery of 618. Turn down the lights, listen closely, and consider what might be lurking just beyond the edge of your screen. A digital file, found languishing on a video sharing platform, bore the stark title, Monochrome Static. It promised 10 hours of pure, unbroken silence married to an unremitting black screen. Nighttime ambiance engineered for perfect, dreamless slumber. Yet, this particular iteration of soundless void held a peculiar anomaly. Around the 6-hour mark of its desolate expanse, the platform's most replayed indicator flared with unnatural intensity. For the uninitiated, this function, often discreet, illuminated video segments that had been revisited most frequently. In typical videos, the logic was evident. A documentary on forgotten asylums might see the most replayed spike at the fleeting glimpse of a spectral figure. A comedic reel would highlight the punchline's delivery. But in a 10-hour vacuum of sight and sound, such a peak was an aberration. What conceivable element could warrant replay? And yet, there it was, a sharp 30-second pinnacle of interest at precisely 6 hours and 18 minutes. Compelled by a prickling curiosity, I navigated the timeline, landing precisely at 6:18 WAN, and pressed play. Darkness remained. Silence persisted. My senses registered no deviation, no flicker in the void, no tremor in the soundlessness. Utter uniformity. A mundane explanation surfaced. Perhaps this aligned with a common waking hour. 6 hours of sleep was a frequent benchmark. Conceivably, scores of users might rouse around this point, halting the file's somber drone. Except, halting playback is not replaying, and the unsettling precision remained, 30 seconds within a 10-hour stretch. Awakening times would scatter, 6 hours and 7 minutes, a diffuse cluster. The most replayed meter, however, presented a stark, unwavering spike, needle-sharp at 6:18:14. A focused laser of attention, not the gentle curve of staggered awakenings. A fleeting, less plausible notion. Had someone by sheer accident shared this file at that precise instant, creating a concentrated, momentary influx of viewers to that specific timestamp? The comment section, sealed shut, offered no avenue for inquiry, no whispered explanations from fellow watchers in the digital dark. Despite the gnawing incongruity that evening, I decided to subject myself to monochrome static. My own restless nights had led me to it, a desperate search for sonic camouflage against the dawn chorus of my neighbor's incessantly vocal dog, a canine harbinger of unwelcome mornings. I set the file to play and retreated into the expectant darkness of my bedroom. Hours later, I jolted awake. A sudden, visceral disruption of sleep. The digital clock on my device cast a faint green glow. 3:37 a.m. The room was a well of blackness, punctuated only by the muted grayish wash emanating from the screen, still playing monochrome static. I turned, burrowed deeper beneath the covers, willing myself back into the embrace of unconsciousness. But my body thrummed with a disquieting energy, a phantom residue of adrenaline, like surfacing from the icy grip of a nightmare, though no dream images clung to my waking mind. I struggled to regain an even keel, mentally counting backwards, a futile exercise in forced calm. Then, through the supposed silence, I heard it. Its nature eluded easy description, yet I must try. Some white noise born from sterile algorithms is a flawless, unbroken rush, a monotone ocean of sound. But other static, especially that coaxed from older analog sources, is often a loop, a recorded fragment endlessly repeating. Listen long enough, and the mind, in its desperate search for order, begins to detect patterns in the subtle shifts of tone, a maddeningly insistent rhythm emerging from the chaos. This was akin to that creeping awareness. My perception, unbidden, began to dissect the static, to isolate a structure, a pulse within the nothingness. Though it had been absent from my conscious hearing as I drifted off, the longer I lay imprisoned in the restless dark, the more insistently the pattern asserted itself. A sequence of breathy whooshes and sharp, dry clicks. Profoundly intrusive, rhythmic sound during sleep was my personal torment. The tick of a clock, an insurmountable barrier to rest, and this sensation echoed that deeply ingrained aversion. Whoosh, whoop, click, whoosh, whoop, click. My nerves began to fray, each iteration tightening the coil of tension within me. Whoosh, whoop, click, whoosh, whoop, click. Just as my endurance fractured, poised to wrench myself from the bed and silence the file, because anything, even the dawn barking, felt preferable to this mounting sonic torture, I registered another sound, a low guttural resonance deeper than the static, rough-edged, and vocalic. "Is anyone there?" I choked out, my voice a trembling whisper swallowed by the dark. Silence. Only the rhythmic static, now tainted with a new layer of dread. I pushed myself upright, and a glacial dread seized me, paralyzing and profound. Two pale orbs materialized, hanging suspended in the gloom. On my device's screen? No, not on the screen, beyond the screen. I remained rigid, transfixed as the orbs detached, drifted away from the flat plane of the display. They hung suspended in the air, a palpable distance from the illuminated glass, and focused, fixed directly upon me. Then, motion. The orbs intensified in luminescence, burning brighter as something moved, lunged. An indistinct shape, all shadow and suggestion, erupted from the screen's grayish glow, nebulous appendages reaching across the sleeping space. And then, a searing jolt of pain, a vice-like pressure clamped around my wrist. I recoiled, flailing blindly, snatched my device from the bedside table, thumbing the power, flooding the room with harsh electric light. Emptiness. Utter vacancy. I scrambled to the doorway, throwing the light switch, illuminating every corner of the room. The chamber was deserted. I snatched up the portable computer and saw the playback marker nestled just beyond the 6:18-minute mark. The most replayed interval. I rewound the file, replaying the segment, bracing myself. Nothing. Absolute absence of anything unusual. No guttural sound, no looming figure, no luminous disembodied orbs. I fled to the bathroom, splashing icy water against my face, attempting to quell the frantic pulse of fear to rationalize the terror. It was just a dream. You were half asleep. Nothing more than that. But as I lowered my gaze, as my breathing began to even out, I saw it. Glanced downwards at my left arm. A livid violet mark bloomed just above my wrist, bearing the unmistakable imprint, the precise contour, of a slender, skeletal hand. And there, we conclude our deeply unsettling journey into 6:18, a story that masterfully blurs the lines between the digital and the real, leaving us to ponder the true nature of the anomaly at 6:18. Was it a glitch in the matrix, a shared hallucination, or something far more sinister reaching out from the void? And what does that lingering mark signify? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. If this tale has left you with a newfound unease about the silence of the digital night, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and activate the notification bell to join us on future journeys into the darkness. This is the Midnight Narrator, signing off. Until next time, remember, be careful what you seek in the silence, for you might just find it.